Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of my Styrofoam sand casting. This is a Styrofoam skull that I made for making a pommel. In this case we're going to be doing a pommel for a snake whip or a bull whip that will go on a threaded rod. Thank you for watching, and please hit subscribe. Hey guys, Eric Anthony here doing another casting video. I'm going to show you how to Styrofoam cast a little tiny carving I did. I did this in my between time of traveling, and I pinched it with my fingers and compressed it. It's a piece of Styrofoam that's been glued together with Elmer's glue, and it's not the best detail right now because it's not metal. I'm going to show you how to turn this into bronze, or white bronze is actually what I'm going to be doing it on. And I'm going to send this to Nick over at Nick's Whip Shop. He's going to turn this into a pommel for a paracord whip. So I'll show you the details and the breakdown. So before we begin, you got to understand a simple aspect of casting. Casting is dealing with metal flowing, and you got to figure out how it's going to flow into the spots. If I were to cast like this and pour from, let's say, the forehead, this is an undercut, or there's going to be undercuts here and it won't fill out. So I'm turning the face down in the mold, or the container I'm going to be using to hold the Petrobond, and I'm going to pre-fill in the eyes and all the nose and the teeth and inside the face with the Petrobond, which is my oil casting sand. And I'm going to stick it in this 1800, I think it's cruising rum shot glass. And it's metal, so it won't melt. I'm going to do something like, well, can't do this in one hand. I'm going to do it like that, where the face is downward. And I'm going to pour from behind, so that when the molten metal goes into it, it'll vaporize the metal and fill in all available space that way, and it won't trap any air bubbles. And then I'll just simply grind off the pour spout after it's done. I'll do a quick video halfway through so I can show you how I'm packing it in. I basically drip over the Petrobond into the eyes and fill it so that when I turn it over, it stays in the cavity. It's kind of sticky stuff, so I'm going to flip it into it. I already packed the bottom side of the flask with Petrobond, and that will fill in the gaps. So I'm a little bit more than halfway done through packing it. I made a mistake earlier. I did the chin wasn't facing downward. You always got to think which way the metal's flowing. And now this is definitely the back of the skull that's sticking up. I'm going to flow from the back of the skull. I'm trying to go fast so that it's not too long of a video. But some people really compact the heck out of the sand. You don't need to compact the sand too much, because you got to think Styrofoam can be cast in play sand, which you don't even need Petrobond. You can do Home Depot play sand, but Petrobond is made to be cast for high detailed stuff, and you put a dowel in it, you dap it down like you're compacting sand when you're making a driveway. And you don't have to have that kind of level of compactedness, compression. You can just loosely fill it in there and push it in with your fingers. The reason why is because Styrofoam, it's foamy. It will compress. You don't want to compress your model and make it squish or distort. Otherwise, you're going to get a distorted product. So I'm going to pack it some more and make a funnel of Petrobond within the shot glass so that it will pour nice and easily into it. So there we go. We have our flask where we're going to be casting our Styrofoam skull into, and it is a makeshift stainless steel shot glass. And as you can see, I made a funnel with the Petrobond. I did that by pressing my fingernails up. Here is my metal inside the crucible where I'm going to be melting the white bronze metal. It looks kind of goldish color, but it is white bronze. And there is flux, and what flux does, it makes that melt, and we can scrape off the impurities off the top. And see, these are chunks of metal that I got from a supply where it is pure white bronze. At this point, I'm just now firing up my forge, and I've got a little sweet spot here where I put my crucible where I'm melting and beginning to melt the white bronze inside the forge. This is just the very first stage of preheating the oven, and I'm using these tongs here to move them around. I will also be using a scraper to scrape off any of the impurities. In this process, I'm going to be scraping off and moving around. Actually, I'm just moving around the metal just to make sure that it all melts. This is kind of like melting chocolate in an oven, kind of, because this breaks apart and starts to liquefy inside that crucible. The more I move them around, the better it is, and I can heat them up all evenly. And as you can see here, it is beginning to completely melt. I'm using the scraper here to get all the slag off of it. This is the collection of impurities that were already in the metal to begin with, and it's stuff that doesn't let it flow nicely. I just use my steel scraper and I scrape off the top to where I get that mirror polished puddle of melted goodness on top of the crucible. And this keeps everything clean. This keeps things from blocking up in all the fine details of the pour when it comes time to pour it. And here we go. I'm grabbing it with my tongs, the tongs pinching onto the edge, and I'm sloshing it around to make sure that all the slag that I missed is sticking to the side. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, and pour. Oops. Made a little bit of mistake. It's okay. Just careful not to catch your shop on fire. Right here we have the Petrobond on fire. It's not a big deal. The black charred Petrobond is not usable. You don't want to mix it in with your stuff, but don't breathe in that smoke because it is toxic. You don't want to breathe in that stuff that's coming off of the Petrobond. And now for the reveal. I'm going to grab it here by the side and knock it out. And there we go. You can see that the casting came out, and the overspill is not that big of a deal. It actually gives me a little bit of a handle to hang on to. And you can see the detail of what I sculpted in Styrofoam. Now for the quench. What we're doing here is pouring some oil to make sure that the drill bit goes all the way through nice and easy, and it cuts a nice clean hole like this. And I will gradually get the hole bigger enough to put the tap through to thread the hole. Now it's a little bit smaller than 1/4 of an inch, so I can start tapping the hole for threading it onto the 1/4-20 rod. I needed a couple of hands to do this, but that is the threading process, with the thread going through, cutting it. And now for the polish. The polishing can be dangerous. You want to make sure you go through and be careful not to get your hands inside the wheels. In this process I use green Tripoli and yellow rouge to get that nice mirror polish. Because this is a natural organic shape, I'm going to leave some of this unpolished. And there you go, there is the final product. I'm going to be shipping this off to Nick for him to create a whip onto a rod that this is attached to. If you like my videos, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Please share. I'm going to be doing a giveaway with another project that we're doing. Thank you for watching, and I will keep these videos coming. I almost forgot, if you want to support my craft, please join in on my Patreon account. I will put a link in the description. If for as little as $1 a month, you can help me with supporting my craft and keep things going, keep the projects going. We're doing this full time now, and love what we do here. And whenever I can, I'll also put some pictures of things that I'm working on for TV and film, making Hollywood in Georgia and bringing it to your computer right here and showing you how props are made as well. Thanks. We'll see you later. Till you make amends with the demons